Hello, my soccer universe. Well, channel first, I'm wearing my new Sevilla jersey, unfortunately, and I'm a little bit mad at myself. I was not too careful, and this is a fake counterfeit. Once you have it in your hand and you look at it a little bit closer, it becomes pretty clear. So I'm still looking for a Sevilla jersey for now. I'm fine with it. I don't like the current ones, although I saw they're half price on sale at the official store, and if you buy it, you get even a scarf. That I think is pretty cool. So let's get right to it. I will not go into all the details because most of the stuff I don't even really remember anymore from round 33. I remember the big surprising result to me was Mallorca beating Celta Vigo 5-1. This was Celta Vigo, that was free scoring, and beating Barcelona, and almost on the verge of beating Barcelona. And then suddenly you go to Mallorca and you lose 5-1. Didn't make much sense to me. I mean, it was 3-0 already at the half. True, the first 1-1 was a penalty. They also got a penalty, but it was 3-1 in the 50th, and then you let us go 5-1. Kind of stopped them in the tracks. Sevilla beating Leganés 3-0. Didn't see really the highlights. Or maybe I did, and I can't remember them. But, putting Leganés into more trouble. Barcelona Atletico Madrid is the game of that round that we definitely need to talk about. And Barcelona gets only a draw, which puts them in the championship race into trouble. It was an improved performance, but it was also a game of penalties and close VAR decisions. Although I have to say, I think none of them really were that contentious. I mean, it starts with an own goal by Diego Costa in the 11th, then shortly thereafter, penalties given for Atletico Madrid, and Diego Costa steps up to take it. It is saved by Ter Stegen, but Ter Stegen is off the line, so it has to be retaken, and Saul Niguez converts. There was a great chance for Messi, who just touched the woodwork to make his 700th goal for Barca. Was not yet to be. However, he gets it in form of a penalty, which he converts in style, typically Panenka, to make it in the 50th 2-1 for Barca. Unfortunately for Barcelona, and I could say this was the most contentious, and there was a slight contact of Semedo that brings down the Atletico attacker, and there's another penalty given that Ter Stegen has its hand there, but it's, if the ball is a little bit more to the post, he saves that one, but it goes like under here, and it's really hard for him to save that one. 2-2. There was one or two more chances, but Barcelona cannot get the winner, and I think Atletico Madrid confirmed their rather good start to the season. Another standard result, but Valencia is in free fall. I mean, after firing the coach, now they play against Athletic Bilbao, lose 2-0 at home, and it was not much of a contest. I mean, Garcia scores both goals in the 13th and 47th. I think Valencia will be happy once the season is over. Villareal gets a win over Betis. Continuing their great form ahead of the Barcelona clash. Gerard Moreno already had 2 goals scored by the 30th. Then Fekir gets sent off with 2 yellow cards within 2 minutes, and there's no coming back for Betis. And then, Real Sociedad turns it around against Espanyol to get their first win. And putting Espanyol really on the cusp of relegation. Espanyol had Real Sociedad had a goal disallowed by Willian Jose. Then Diego Lopez gets the goal for Espanyol, and this is how they go into the half. But right after the half, Willian Jose, with a really nice one, gets the equalizer, and then Isaac gets his, I think, 8th goal in the 84th to give Real Sociedad finally a win. And then I think everything looked at what Real Madrid and Getafe will do. I actually watched a little bit of the first half, and it was a dreary match. It was not that good, to be honest. And in typically Real Madrid fashion, that's the one thing that we have to say. Real Madrid played for most of the time like a team, but even if they don't play great, they find a way to pull out a win. And if it's with the help of the referee, so be it. penalty given for Real Madrid. I don't think it was all that contentious overall, and Ramos in the 79th converts it, and they get the win, which then puts them with the draw that Barcelona had against Atleti, 4 points ahead of Real Madrid, and in severe driving seat. Definitely in a driver's seat to get the championship, 86% at that point, with only kind of a potential trap game against Athletic Bilbao ahead. And also we saw Sevilla with that win, and Villareal is still pushing, but Sevilla actually good. Getafe dropping out, and Real Sociedad barely hanging into that race. Maybe Bilbao could get in there as well. And the bottom three seemed very much set, although Mallorca a little bit pushed up again, but it's an uphill battle. And then the weekend round came with Atletico Madrid disposing of Mallorca rather easily. And there were a couple of goals by Morata in there. One was a penalty. And in the end, Coque makes it 3-0, so rather easy for Atletico. Celta at least bounced a little bit back against Betis, the 1-1. It was a very entertaining game between Granada and Valencia. I actually saw the highlights of that one, where I think Granada took the lead. Let's see. Granada took the lead in the 61st. It was a kind of a boring first half. The second half sprung into life. Vallejo then, shortly after, makes it 1-1, and Guedes with a wonderful strike makes it 2-1 for Valencia, and only late they give up another goal, and it ends 2-2. This could have maybe gotten Valencia a little bit out of trouble. This was a rather entertaining game, although I didn't necessarily like the jersey matchup in that one. And then Bilbao, Real Madrid. What I just said about Real Madrid Getafe, you can say about that game. In that game, even in the first half, Bilbao was maybe even the slightly better team, although it has to be said that the best chance was at the end of the game, end of the first half, Karim Benzema, which just a little bit off the goal. And everything seems to be headed for a 0-0 draw, and then Marcelo is brought down in the box, and it was a rather clear penalty because he stepped on. 1-0 Sergio Ramos. So he makes it 1-0, and I mean the penalty series by Sergio Ramos is amazing. Most still remember his missed penalty against Bayern, but since then he has been converting penalties like crazy. I think it started with the one in the Euro semi-final in 2012, also Panenka type of penalty. So it's 1-0 Real Madrid, and then the big cry out where in the box Sergio Ramos steps on a Bilbao player. The problem I think with that one is, and I have to say, it really looks like he's running into the player, going backward, stepping on him, and also the ball was far away from that scene. I have to say, the Barcelona fan in me probably would have liked to see the penalty given, or even the La Liga fan to preserve a little bit of spice in the championship race. I would say this would have been harsh. I actually kind of understand why it's not given, and so Real Madrid hangs on to another messy 1-0 win, and this was the one game where everyone says this might have been the last stumbling block for them. We have to talk about Espanyol against Leganés because, relegation battle. I mean, both teams needed a win, and Leganés gets it. A very flat performance by Espanyol, who look all but done for now. I think in the Barcelona derby that's coming up, if they don't win that one, they're down. I think Barcelona will do their best to send Espanyol down. Speaking of doing the best, Barcelona did their best. And for once played convincingly Villareal, a game that I thought they will have a really hard time with. But Villareal plays into Barcelona's cards because they play open, and if you play like against Barcelona, Barcelona has the better players. And Griezmann, I didn't even manage him. He didn't even play much against Atletico Madrid. And I also have to say, if that game would have gone sour, this video would have been all about Barcelona failing. No, actually, it's now more or less about Real Madrid getting one messy win after another. And that Barcelona actually now really need to look themselves. This is a championship. If they would have pulled it somehow together, it seems like a big opportunity missed for Barcelona there. Griezmann starts, and while he didn't score the first goal, he was right there after Jordi Alba comes in, but Torres makes it 1-0 for Barca. Then Moreno gets another goal on a rebound in the 14th. I thought, oh, this might be where the game could not turn the other way. Barcelona playing those teal jerseys, and with this pattern on there, I have to say they look like pajamas, honestly. So yeah. Suarez then makes it with a great shot, 2-1 in the 20th, Messi assist. And I think that's it, Barcelona, the way Barcelona could have scored many goals. The Griezmann then really gets off the schneid after a backheel assist by Messi, who draws 3 players onto him. A super nice chip, reminiscent to what Messi did last year at Betis to make it 3-1, and that basically sealed the deal. A Messi goal was disallowed for offside, and the second half, Ansu Fati makes the 9,000th goal in Barcelona history. I think it was a little bit deflected at the end, but yeah, that's... Everyone is talking about how great Barcelona played. It's just they will not win the championship because Real Madrid just seems to be a lot more greedy on that. Levante and Real Sociedad, 2 great goals by Isaac to make it 1-0 for Real Sociedad early on in the 12th, and then just 4 minutes later Morales with a really nice counter make it 1-1, and then the game fizzles out and Sevilla gets a late win against Eibar, which means that finally now after 34 games the table on the top, not much has changed, but it's still 87% that Real Madrid will win it, and 4 games to play, 5 points ahead. You look rather comfy that way. Real Madrid can afford 2 draws or a loss and a draw. So I think no one really sees happen. I think with the result that Sevilla got and the other results, the 2 wins, Sevilla now really look safe in the Champions League spot. So those 4 on top, I think, will end up in the top 4. And I think it's then only will Villareal, Getafe, Real Sociedad hold on to the Europa League spots. Athletic Bilbao is also in there. There's still a question about the Copa del Rey final, which kind of decides whether there is a 7th spot via the league or whether it's in the final. At the moment, it seems if there's really the Copa del Rey final played, Real Getafe would get in, and Real Sociedad and Bilbao kind of fairly in a way will play out the final spot there. Lots of changes on the bottom, but I think all those teams look safe. I don't think Mallorca will get in, and Espanyol is down. I'm sorry to say I was so happy for the last season. It reminds me a bit above Köln. Very briefly, Portugal, I owe you the results, the last few results. There was a crazy game between Rio Ave and Braga, where Braga loses against Sporting, gets another win against Gil Vicente. And then in the midweek round, Benfica can win against Boavista, but Porto 5-0 past Belenenses, and I think it's similar story, even though more decided in Portugal as it is in Spain. If we look at the table, Porto are very much 6 points clear, 4 games to go. I think you're cruising here. But Benfica also is cruising to a second spot, and I even think Sporting and Braga, although Braga is not all the great, will get the Europa League spots. Anyway, let me know what you thought about the midweek games in La Liga and in Liga NOS. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this, and I will talk to you soon. Bye! Hey there! I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that would be of interest to you too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel, as it will keep you updated with all things that are rotating in my soccer universe. With that, I wish you a wonderful day. Bye.